Yo, yo, yo. What's good, folks? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're at in the world. Tyrus Bane here. Welcome to the definition of anarchy. This is going to be part 2 of that Brandon Tatum video where I'm talking about how he doesn't really represent the black community. Now, I want to go into a comment, right? That was that YouTube took down. For some reason, I didn't do this, JoJo. One JoJo, hold on a second. A commenter who goes by JoJo. Let me start this up real quick. Let's see. A commenter by the name of JoJo. There we go. Now, a commenter who goes by JoJo said, "I'm black and I don't see it that way." Talking about what I said in the last video. "But I respect you. I feel tired of people trying to baby the communities instead of giving facts to try to move ahead. Just telling people over and over." Now it goes into ellipses. And I tried to go to this comment and apparently YouTube took it down. But I'm going to respond to what I saw. This is the problem I'm having. You see, this is what's going on. Who said anything about babying the community? I didn't. I said, see, that's the problem. You see, you people who think like Brandon Tatum and Candace Owens think that compassion and empathy equals babying. It does not. You're not babying the community by having understanding and compassion and knowing what's really going on. You can have facts and still have compassion. It's not an either or situation. You can have both. Yeah, because nowhere did I say that we need to baby the communities. I said we need to show them a better way using facts, right? And you can use facts and compassion and have empathy at the same time. It's very possible. You understand what I'm saying? So, and as a matter of fact, to better interpret the facts, you have to have that compassion. You have to have that empathy and that knowing. It doesn't mean that you're soft. Y'all, you guys want to equate, sympathy and compassion, or empathy and compassion, with being soft and being weak and being a pussy. Nah, none of that going on over here. Look at my ashy ass elbow. Anyway, that's not what that is. You see, because, for instance, I know a cat goes by Mighty Mouse. He has a YouTube channel. He has this guns down, gloves up movement, right? Now, he's not black, right? He's not a black dude, but he is Lebanese and white. But he grew up around black people. He went to prison for a long time. He came from the hood. He understands the plight of the hood, and he was able to get himself out of that. He got a CDL and all this other stuff. He's driving trucks. But now he's going across the country pushing this guns down, gloves up movement. And how you deal with that it has nothing to do with babying. Right? You're talking about getting two people from rival gangs or who have beef on the streets, getting them together to bang it out with these instead of with the gun. You know what I'm saying? Within their own community, destroying your own community by banging on each other with firearms instead of handling your beef with the fist. So he allows people to put the gloves on, right? And he referees and he lets them go at it for a minute. And then they squash the beef. Does that sound like baby shit to you? No, it's not baby shit. But see, if you only go by what Brandon Tatum says, and I know you said you black, but obviously if you're to me, in my mind, if you're telling me that, then you don't really have a full understanding of what's being done in the community. It has nothing to do with babying. It's about showing people a better way by actually getting in the trenches with these people, talking to them, going to where they're at and speaking to them. My mother, and you can call this babying if you want to. My mother did a documentary. It's called Gang Girl. And it's basically about my sister who was in a gang, right? And how my mother's mission was to understand why she was in this gang and how she can get her out of it. But it wasn't just about my sister. It was about a lot of girls in gangs. And she was able to go into these hoods, deep into these hoods, to have these discussions with these girls and even some dude gang members about why they joined the gangs. She didn't baby them. She was trying to get an understanding. She was trying to find out why. It was sparked by her. This interest was sparked by her daughter, my sister, who was in a gang. When she had both her parents in her life, lived in not affluent, but halfway affluent neighborhood, wasn't really around gangs like that. She just made that decision. She made her own choices. But when you're talking about the girls that actually grew up in these hoods, the Nickerson Gardens, Jefferson Downs, all up in the jungles, you know what I'm saying, where it's really hardcore in Watts, you can see why they arrived at this situation where they joined these gangs. You understand what I'm saying? So there's not a soft approach. You don't approach this softly. You don't approach this with kid gloves. You have to have that mentality, that tough mentality, that you're going to step up in these hoods. If you actually give a shit, you're going to go into the hoods, right? You're going to have the balls like my mother did, and me too, because I had to go with her. You know what I'm saying? I went with her a few times to do these interviews or whatever, and I was kind of like her security, and I had my whistle on me. It was what it was. That's the reality of it. Even though I understood that she had a pass to go into these neighborhoods, because that's what you had to get a pass. You got to actually get in touch with a shot caller, not necessarily an OG. That's not the same thing. There's shot callers who are OGs, and there's shot callers who are not OGs. That's another story. You got to get in touch with a shot caller of that neighborhood, of that gang, in order to have access to them. You understand what I'm saying? So there's nothing soft. You don't handle that shit softly. So whatever your misconception is, partner, I'm letting you know right now, ain't nothing soft about it. Ain't nothing ain't no baby shit. This is real life shit. Anyway, moving on. That's the misconception. You see, you think what Brandon Tatum doing is okay because maybe he speaks to you in some way when he talks shit about the black community, but he's not in the trenches. So he really has no understanding. And that's what I mean by compassion and empathy. Understanding why these people are in the position they're in. How it's generational, multi-generational. They didn't just wake up and decide to do this. No, this was based on conditioning over decades and decades. Decades and decades. Every action has an equal and opposite reaction. So if it took 200, 300 years to get black people into this position because they have been constantly being bombarded with oppression throughout the centuries, it's not going to turn around in 3, 4, 5 decades. No. It may take longer than that. It may take 100 years. But slowly our neighborhoods are improving. There is gentrification going on in certain black neighborhoods where the gentrification is being done by black people. They won't tell you about that. They'll tell you that it's the white folks coming through to save the community and gentrify and make everything look better and beautify and all this stuff. No, this is happening in black neighborhoods too. Anyway, moving on from that. This is why I say Brandon Tatum doesn't speak to the black community. It's not because he ain't soft. It's not because he's treating the black community like babies. No, it's because he don't understand. And if you don't have that understanding, he clearly don't. If he was in the shits, if he was in the trenches really trying to turn motherfuckers' lives around in the hood, he would not say half the things he'd be saying, because he would have to answer to the OGs and the shot callers that give him access to these kids. They give him access to the neighborhoods to really try to turn shit around. Like, look, you said you were here to help us, but every time I turn around, you talking shit about our communities. How are we going to get any headway? How are we going to get any allies when you keep painting us like animals? Like there's nothing that can be done for us other than heavy policing and if you're a good black person in a bad black neighborhood, you got to get out and leave them motherfuckers to themselves. He would not last dealing with these people. If he was actually in the shit like that, he wouldn't be talking the shit he does about the black community. Point blank in the period. Anyway, and this is what Angela Stanton, I believe, was. I can't even tell you what Angela Stanton. I can't even find that video, so I don't know what she said about him. They got him on this rant.
Walking down the street, calling people the N-word every day. People had no problem interpreting what Martin Luther.
This is.